Hi, Jakob, Unisport Web TV, and today I'm reviewing this guy, the Nike Tiempo Legend V. Now, the Legend V is packed to the brim with modern technology, while still maintaining that classic comfort and feel. At least, that's what Nike are saying. But does the Legend V deliver, and how does it feel? Well, I think it's time that we go and find out. So join me. Now, one of the first things I noticed about the Tiempo Legend V was a change to the shape of the upper. And that was because Nike used a different last, the X1 last that we also know from the Nike Premier. And this last is made to give you a more anatomical and tight fit, which is exactly what you get. Because the toe box is rather low, which gives you a really snug and tight fit in this particular area. But another change from the Tiempo Legend 4 is to the construction of the upper. And on the Legend 5, the upper is made out of 3 layers. The upper layer is a super thin waterproof kangaroo leather, whereas the mid layer is a honeycomb-like mesh. And the innermost layer is this so-called tricoat weave. And all of these 3 layers combine into the Hypershield technology. But more on that later. Because on your feet, you can really feel the change to the thickness of the upper. And that is basically thanks to the mesh that allowed Nike to create and utilize a thinner and softer kangaroo leather, simply because the mesh will give the upper a bit more structure and stability. Now, because of this, the leather on the Tiempo Legend 5 is very soft. And although it might feel a bit restrictive just after you take it out of the box, you only need to break it in a few times before it gets really soft and molds and stretches nicely around your foot for a really personal fit. And basically, it feels like the upper adapted to the shape of my foot rather quickly. And although it is a bit thinner and slightly less padded than the Legend 4, you get a really smooth ride in this fella. Another thing I have to say about the Legend 5 is around the sizing, because I do recommend strongly that you go up half a size to get the best possible fit. Simply because the last of the boot is so tight fitting, especially around the toe box. And at least that's what I did, and it worked pretty well for me. Now, if we look at the sole plate and the studs in the Tiempo Legend 5, it's pretty much as you were compared to the Legend 4, because the studs work pretty well and they give you a good combination between maneuverability and grip. They're comfortable, the pressure distribution is good, and I don't have anything particularly bad to say. The sole plate on the Legend 5 has also undergone a few changes, because Nike made the midfoot rather stiff and stable to give you a nice base for your movements. But when we move more and more towards the forefoot, the boot gets gradually more and more flexible, ending in this small groove, right where you typically bend your foot. And basically, the added flexibility of the forefoot allows you to have as many studs in contact with the ground as possible at all times, which is a great feeling when it comes to responsiveness, simply because you feel that no matter how you position your foot on the ground, you have a perfect grip to push off in any direction. And basically, I didn't expect this from the Legend 5, but it is a great little addition to make you feel not barefoot, but still a lot more free than the Legend 4. Thumbs up. So, speaking about the touch on the ball in the Legend 5, it differs a bit from most other K-leather boots out there, simply because the upper is so thin that you can really feel everything you do around the ball, and you get a very precise touch with just a slight padding to it. And basically, this is pretty awesome because it combines that close to the ball, really barefoot-like feel of most synthetic uppers with this soft, padded feeling of kangaroo leather. It's pretty cool. Now, another cool thing about the touch in the Legend 5 is the combination between the Hypershield and the ACC technologies. And basically what Hypershield does is that it allows the Legend 5 to absorb 73% less water than the Legend 4. And this affects the touch in a positive way simply because your boot doesn't get as heavy and clumsy as a Legend 4 would be. And combining this with ACC, where you get a less slippery upper than you would with a normal K-leather boot, you actually get a more consistent touch that reminds me a bit of the touch you would get in the dry. And it does sound a bit like a gimmick, but it actually works and gives you a really good, confident feeling when you're on the ball, even in the rain. So, when it comes to shooting in the Tiempo Legend 5, it is a pretty no-nonsense boot. Simply because Nike crafted it with the kangaroo leather going from the forefoot and all the way through to the midfoot, with only the heel being made from Kangalite. And this gives you a pretty nice and clean striking surface that actually also helps you to get really well under the ball thanks to the low toe box. And there are no striking elements to help you with your shot, so basically it's all up to you. But you can feel a lot of the ball, and it does give you a clean strike on the ball. So, summing up the Tiempo Legend 5, it is a really good football boot. And actually, I haven't got that much bad to say about the Tiempo Legend 5 because it is a really good all-round boot that just performs really well, no matter the conditions. And actually, I'd say that I would never be unhappy about playing in a pair of these because it is one of the most consistent boots out there at the moment. But what do you think about the Tiempo Legend 5? Well, please let me know in the comment section below. Also, don't forget to go and watch Behind the Boots if you want even more information about the Legend 5. You can do that by clicking the annotations right down there. Now this was all from me for today. I'll see you later on here in Unisport Web TV. Signing off, cheerio.